The hidden power of strategic relationships. Throughout human history, power has rarely belonged to the strongest or even the smartest individuals. More often, it belongs to those who understand one simple but uncomfortable truth about society. Power moves through relationships. Look closely at history and you will notice a pattern. Kings relied on advisors. Generals relied on loyal commanders. Billionaires rely on strategic partners. Politicians rely on influential networks. No one rises alone. Behind every powerful individual is a network of relationships that quietly sustains their influence. This is one of the central observations made by the political philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli, whose ideas about power, strategy, and human behavior have influenced leaders for centuries. Machiavelli did not view society through the lens of idealism. Instead, he studied human nature as it actually behaved in the real world. In his famous political work, The Prince, he explored how leaders gain power, maintain it, and protect themselves from threats. One of his most important insights is this: power is rarely held by isolated individuals. Instead, power flows through alliances, loyalty, influence, and proximity. In other words, the people around you often determine how far you can rise. Yet most people misunderstand how relationships with powerful individuals actually form. They believe influence is gained through admiration. They believe that if they praise powerful people enough, they will eventually be noticed. But admiration alone has almost no value in powerful circles. In fact, powerful individuals are often surrounded by admiration already. They hear compliments every day. They encounter people trying to impress them constantly. And because of this, they develop a strong ability to detect insincerity. The truth is that powerful individuals are not searching for admiration. They are searching for value. They are searching for individuals who bring something meaningful into their world, something that improves their position, something that solves a problem, something that expands their opportunities. When someone enters their environment with genuine value, the dynamic changes immediately. Suddenly, the relationship is no longer based on admiration. It is based on usefulness. This is where influence begins. But to understand why usefulness matters so much, we must first understand the environment powerful people live in. Most influential individuals operate in a world of constant pressure. Every day they face difficult decisions. They must manage resources, competition, risks, and expectations. They deal with ambitious rivals who want to replace them. They deal with people seeking favors. They deal with individuals who pretend loyalty but secretly pursue their own interests. Because of this, powerful individuals learn to become extremely selective about who they allow into their inner circles. They constantly evaluate people, not always consciously, but instinctively. They ask silent questions such as, can this person be trusted? Does this person bring value? Will this person make my life easier or more complicated? Those who fail these silent evaluations quickly disappear from attention, but those who pass them slowly gain access. However, there is another mistake many people make when they try to connect with powerful individuals. They approach with desperation. They try too hard to impress. They speak too much. They reveal their ambitions immediately. Ironically, this behavior creates the opposite effect they desire. Desperation signals weakness, and weakness creates distrust. Influential individuals often prefer calm, confident personalities, people who appear comfortable in their own position, people who do not appear dependent on approval. This quiet confidence creates curiosity, and curiosity is often the first step toward influence. Think about the individuals who naturally attract attention in social environments. They are not always the richest, they are not always the most famous, but they carry themselves differently. Their presence feels composed, their behavior feels controlled. They do not chase attention, yet attention seems to find them. This is the psychology of perceived value. Human beings instinctively gravitate toward individuals who appear valuable, and when someone appears valuable, powerful individuals begin to notice. But there is another important dimension to this dynamic. Powerful individuals are constantly searching for reliable allies. Influence creates enemies. The more successful someone becomes, the more people want to challenge them. Because of this, loyalty becomes extremely valuable. Someone who proves loyal over time becomes more than just an acquaintance. They become an asset, and assets are protected. This is why many powerful relationships develop slowly. Trust cannot be rushed. It must be demonstrated through consistent behavior, discretion, reliability, competence. These qualities slowly build a reputation, and reputation, once established, becomes incredibly powerful. In many cases, reputation opens doors long before you even enter the room. People begin to hear your name. They begin to associate you with competence. They begin to associate you with value, and eventually opportunities begin to appear. But this process requires patience. In modern culture, people often want instant success, instant recognition, instant influence. Yet the reality of powerful networks is much slower.
Relationships develop gradually. Trust builds over time. Opportunities appear after consistent positioning. Those who rush often damage their credibility, but those who move patiently and strategically often rise much further. This is why many successful individuals focus on becoming valuable before becoming visible. They develop skills, they build knowledge, they learn how systems work, they observe powerful environments before trying to enter them. By the time they interact with influential individuals, they already possess something useful. This preparation changes everything. Instead of appearing like someone seeking opportunity, they appear like someone bringing opportunity, and that distinction transforms how others perceive them. In the end, the first principle of forming relationships with powerful people is surprisingly simple. Do not chase influence. Become valuable enough that influence begins to notice you. When someone consistently demonstrates usefulness, intelligence, and composure, powerful individuals begin to recognize a potential ally. And once that recognition begins, doors that once seemed impossible to open may slowly start to move. Because in the world of influence, relationships are not based on admiration. They are based on value, trust, and strategic positioning. And those who understand this principle have already taken the first step toward entering powerful circles.
Understanding the psychology of powerful people. If you want to form meaningful connections with powerful individuals, the first thing you must understand is that power changes the way people experience the world. Most people imagine powerful individuals living lives of luxury, comfort, and admiration. From the outside, influence appears glamorous. Wealth, respect, and authority create an image that many people admire. But the reality of power is far more complex. With influence comes pressure. With authority comes responsibility. And with success comes a constant awareness that others may want what you have. This psychological environment shapes the mindset of powerful individuals in ways that many ordinary people fail to understand. When someone rises to a position of influence, whether in business, politics, finance, or media, they quickly discover that their time becomes their most valuable resource. Every day, people request meetings. Every day, people ask for favors. Every day, people attempt to gain access. Over time, this constant demand forces powerful individuals to develop strong mental filters. They must decide very quickly who deserves attention and who does not. Without these filters, they would become overwhelmed. And so they begin to categorize people, not necessarily in a cruel way, but in a practical one. Most people they encounter fall into the first category, irrelevant individuals. These are people who bring nothing new into the conversation. They ask for opportunities without offering anything in return. They seek attention but provide no real value. These individuals are often forgotten quickly, not because powerful people dislike them, but because they simply do not stand out. Then there is the second category, dangerous individuals. These are people whose intentions feel suspicious. They may appear overly ambitious. They may try too hard to impress. They may reveal hidden motives too quickly. Powerful individuals are extremely sensitive to these signals. Why? Because the higher someone rises in influence, the more they encounter manipulation, competition, and betrayal. History is filled with examples of leaders destroyed not by enemies outside their circle, but by individuals within it. This is one of the central warnings explored by the philosopher Machiavelli, who observed that rulers must always remain aware of hidden ambitions among those around them. For this reason, powerful individuals often maintain a cautious distance from people whose intentions feel unclear. But then there is the third category, the rare category, valuable individuals. These are the people who stand out in powerful environments. They do not appear desperate for attention. They do not chase influence aggressively. Instead, they bring something meaningful into the interaction. It might be knowledge, it might be opportunity, it might be insight, or it might simply be calm competence. But whatever it is, it improves the environment around them. Powerful individuals notice this quickly because valuable people are rare, and rarity attracts attention. Another important psychological trait among powerful individuals is their strong ability to read social signals. When someone interacts with them, they observe more than just the words being spoken. They observe behavior. They observe emotional reactions. They observe body language. They notice whether someone interrupts others. They notice whether someone listens carefully. They notice how someone reacts to disagreement. These small details reveal character. For example, someone who becomes defensive when challenged may appear insecure.
Someone who talks excessively may appear desperate for recognition. Someone who constantly praises may appear insincere. But someone who remains calm, thoughtful, and composed often appears confident and trustworthy. And confidence attracts respect. Another fascinating aspect of powerful psychology is the way influential individuals test people without openly admitting it. These tests can appear in many forms. Sometimes they will disagree with an idea simply to observe how someone reacts. Sometimes they will delay a response to see whether someone becomes impatient. Sometimes they will place someone in a difficult situation to observe their problem-solving ability. These tests are rarely announced, but they are constantly happening. Why? Because trust is extremely valuable in powerful circles, and trust must be earned. Many people fail these tests without realizing it. They become emotional, they become defensive, they become impatient. But those who remain calm and thoughtful begin to stand out. Another psychological factor influencing powerful individuals is their constant exposure to flattery. Once someone becomes successful, they begin to hear compliments everywhere. People praise their intelligence. People praise their vision. People praise their leadership. At first, this admiration may feel pleasant, but over time it becomes predictable, and predictable behavior loses value. Flattery begins to feel empty. This is why thoughtful honesty often earns more respect than blind praise. Someone who can offer intelligent insight without arrogance or disrespect becomes far more interesting than someone who constantly agrees. Powerful individuals appreciate conversations that challenge their thinking, not aggressively, but intelligently, because intellectual stimulation is rare in environments filled with superficial praise. Another important element of the psychology of powerful people is efficiency. Influential individuals value people who save them time, someone who communicates clearly, someone who solves problems quickly, someone who anticipates needs before they are spoken. These individuals become incredibly valuable. Think about the assistants, advisors, and strategists who surround powerful leaders. These people often operate quietly behind the scenes. They do not seek attention, but their ability to anticipate problems and create solutions makes them indispensable, and indispensability leads to influence. There is also an emotional dimension to powerful relationships that many people overlook. Influence can be incredibly isolating. As someone rises in status, they often begin to question the authenticity of people around them. Are these people loyal? Or are they simply seeking benefits? Are these friendships genuine, or are they strategic? This uncertainty creates emotional distance, which is why individuals who demonstrate sincerity and reliability over time become incredibly valuable, not because they flatter, but because they create stability, and stability is rare in environments defined by competition. However, understanding the psychology of powerful individuals is only the beginning. Knowing how they think does not automatically create influence. The next step is learning how to position yourself in a way that naturally attracts their attention. And that positioning begins with one powerful strategy: becoming useful. Because in the world of influence, the individuals who rise are rarely those who ask for opportunities. They are the ones who quietly create opportunities for others. And when someone becomes a source of opportunity, powerful individuals begin to recognize something extremely valuable: an ally. The strategy of becoming indispensable. There is a powerful principle that quietly determines who rises within influential circles and who remains on the outside. It is not charisma, it is not luck, and it is not even raw intelligence. The principle is indispensability. Throughout history, the individuals who gained access to powerful people were rarely those who simply admired them. Instead, they were those who became useful in ways that could not easily be replaced. This idea aligns closely with the strategic observations of Niccolo Machiavelli, who understood that rulers and powerful figures constantly depend on capable individuals around them. Leaders may appear independent, but in reality they rely on networks of advisors, strategists, experts, and problem solvers. In other words, power is rarely a solo performance. It is a system of cooperation. Within that system, some individuals become essential. They become the ones who know how to fix problems. They become the ones who understand complex situations. They become the ones who bring opportunities others cannot see. And once someone reaches that position, their influence grows naturally. But the question is, how does someone become indispensable? The answer begins with understanding value. Value is created when you possess something others need. It might be a skill. It might be knowledge. It might be connections. It might be perspective. But whatever form it takes, it must improve the lives or goals of those around you. For example, imagine someone who understands how to connect people. In every industry, there are individuals who know the right people at the right time. They introduce investors to entrepreneurs. They connect creators with opportunities. They link people who can benefit from working together. These individuals act as bridges, and bridges are extremely powerful positions. Why? Because they control access between opportunities. When two influential individuals meet because of you, something interesting happens psychologically. Your presence becomes associated with opportunity. You become someone who creates value, and people naturally want to stay close to sources of value. Another path toward indispensability is expertise. When someone becomes deeply skilled in an area that powerful people care about, their influence increases automatically. Think about financial advisors who manage billions of dollars. Think about strategists who help companies expand. Think about political advisors who shape campaigns. These individuals often operate quietly behind the scenes. They are not always famous, but their expertise gives them access to rooms where important decisions are made. And once someone enters those rooms, their network expands dramatically. This is why developing rare and valuable skills is one of the fastest ways to gain proximity to power. But expertise alone is not enough. Another important quality is reliability. Many people possess talent, but far fewer people demonstrate consistent reliability. Powerful individuals pay close attention to this. If someone makes promises but fails to deliver, trust begins to disappear. But if someone consistently solves problems and keeps their word, trust grows stronger. Over time, reliability transforms into reputation, and reputation becomes one of the most powerful forces in social influence. When people trust your reputation, opportunities begin to arrive without you chasing them. Your name begins to circulate within networks. People recommend you, people introduce you, and before long you may find yourself interacting with individuals whose influence once seemed unreachable. But there is another powerful dimension to becoming indispensable, and that is anticipation. Truly valuable individuals do not simply react to problems. They anticipate them. They observe patterns. They understand the pressures powerful individuals face. And they prepare solutions before those problems become visible. Imagine the impact of someone who consistently predicts challenges and arrives with answers. That person quickly becomes extremely valuable, because powerful individuals are constantly managing uncertainty. Someone who reduces that uncertainty becomes an asset. However, there is an important balance that must be maintained. While becoming useful is powerful, appearing too eager can destroy the effect. Desperation weakens perceived value. If someone constantly offers help in a way that feels excessive, it may appear as if they are seeking approval rather than contributing naturally. True value is calm. It is confident. It does not beg for recognition. This subtle confidence changes the way others perceive you. Instead of appearing like someone chasing opportunity, you appear like someone creating opportunity.
The silent advantage, observation, and social intelligence. There is a quiet skill that separates those who rise within powerful circles from those who remain permanently on the outside. It is not charisma. It is not loud confidence. It is observation. The ability to observe people carefully, to understand their motivations, and to read the hidden dynamics of social environments is one of the most powerful advantages a person can possess. Throughout history, many influential strategists understood that information is often more valuable than action. Acting too quickly can destroy opportunities, but observing patiently allows a person to move with precision. The political thinker Machiavelli emphasized this idea repeatedly when studying leaders and rulers. He believed that those who understood human nature could anticipate behavior long before others recognized what was happening. In powerful environments, this principle becomes even more important. Why? Because powerful individuals are rarely surrounded by simple relationships. Instead, they exist inside complex networks of alliances, rivalries, ambitions, and hidden interests. At first glance, a room filled with influential people may appear calm and friendly, but beneath that calm surface, subtle dynamics are always at work. Some individuals are competing for influence, some are protecting their reputation, some are quietly building alliances, and some are observing everyone else. Those who rise socially are usually the observers. They enter a room and begin studying the environment. They notice who speaks the most. They notice who others listen to. They notice who interrupts and who waits patiently. They observe which individuals are respected and which are tolerated. These details reveal the true hierarchy of influence within the room. Because in many environments, the person with the highest title is not always the one with the most influence. Sometimes influence belongs to the quiet advisor in the corner. Sometimes it belongs to the strategist who speaks only when necessary. Sometimes it belongs to the individual who controls access between powerful people. Without observation, these hidden structures remain invisible, but once someone begins to see them, the entire environment becomes easier to navigate. Another important aspect of observation is understanding emotional signals. Human beings constantly communicate emotions through subtle behaviors, tone of voice, facial expressions, body posture, pauses in conversation. These signals often reveal more truth than words themselves. For example, someone may claim to agree with an idea, but their hesitation might reveal uncertainty. Someone may speak confidently in public, but display discomfort when certain topics arise. These emotional signals provide valuable information about motivations and insecurities. And understanding insecurities is extremely important when interacting with powerful individuals. Because no matter how influential someone becomes, they remain human.
They still experience doubt. They still experience pressure. They still worry about reputation, competition, and failure. Those who recognize these pressures can navigate conversations with greater intelligence. They avoid topics that create unnecessary tension. They focus on ideas that create comfort and confidence. This creates an environment where powerful individuals feel psychologically safe, and people naturally trust those who create emotional safety. Another crucial element of observation involves timing. Timing can determine the success or failure of an interaction. Many people approach influential individuals at the wrong moments. They interrupt during stressful situations. They ask for opportunities when someone is already overwhelmed. They attempt to start conversations when attention is divided. These mistakes often lead to rejection. But observers recognize the importance of choosing the right moment. They wait for situations where conversations flow naturally. They approach when the environment is relaxed. They recognize moments when powerful individuals are more open to discussion. Patience allows them to move strategically. This patience creates another advantage. It allows observers to gather information before revealing their intentions. Many people reveal their ambitions immediately when meeting someone influential. They talk about what they want. They talk about their goals. They talk about the opportunities they are seeking. But this approach often creates suspicion, because powerful individuals encounter this behavior constantly. Observers take a different approach. They listen first. They ask thoughtful questions. They allow conversations to develop naturally. Through listening, they gain information about priorities, interests, and challenges. Once they understand these factors, they can contribute ideas that feel relevant and valuable. And when someone contributes valuable insights at the right moment, their presence becomes memorable. Another important advantage of observation is the ability to identify gatekeepers. In every powerful environment, there are individuals who control access. These may be assistants, advisors, partners, or longtime friends. They are the people who filter interactions. They protect the powerful individual's time and attention. Many people ignore these gatekeepers because they focus only on the powerful person. But observers recognize their importance. They treat gatekeepers with respect. They build relationships with them. They understand that trust within this inner circle often determines whether someone gains access or remains outside. Another subtle skill observers develop is the ability to remain comfortable with silence. Silence can feel uncomfortable for many people. They rush to fill it with words. They talk excessively to avoid awkward pauses. But those who understand social intelligence recognize that silence has power. Silence allows others to reveal their thoughts. Silence creates space for reflection. Silence makes words more meaningful when they are finally spoken. In powerful environments, individuals who speak less but speak thoughtfully often appear more intelligent. Their words carry greater weight. People listen carefully when they choose to speak. Another powerful observation skill involves identifying unspoken rules within a social environment. Every group operates according to invisible expectations. There are certain behaviors that are encouraged. There are certain behaviors that create discomfort. Observers learn these rules quickly. They notice how people dress. They notice how conversations are structured. They notice which topics generate enthusiasm and which topics create tension. By adapting to these unspoken norms, they integrate smoothly into the environment. But perhaps the most important advantage of observation is that it prevents mistakes. Many people destroy opportunities not because they lack talent, but because they misunderstand the social environment they enter. They speak too aggressively. They challenge the wrong person. They reveal confidential information. They attempt to prove themselves too quickly. Observers rarely make these mistakes because before acting, they study the environment carefully. They move only when they understand the dynamics around them. This creates the impression of calm intelligence, and calm intelligence attracts respect. Over time, this reputation begins to grow. People begin to see the observer as thoughtful, perceptive, and reliable. And once someone earns this reputation within powerful circles, something interesting begins to happen. Others begin to seek their opinion. Others begin to trust their judgment. Others begin to include them in conversations where decisions are made. And suddenly, the observer who once stood quietly in the background begins to move closer to the center of influence. Because in the world of power, those who understand people often gain more influence than those who simply try to impress them. Observation becomes strategy. Strategy becomes opportunity. And opportunity becomes influence. But there is one final element that determines whether someone truly rises within powerful circles. It is the ability to control perception. Because in the end, influence is not only about what you do, it is about how others see you. And those who master perception gain one of the most powerful advantages in social dynamics: controlling perception and rising into powerful circles. In the world of influence, reality is not always what determines power. Perception does. Human beings rarely judge others based solely on truth. Instead, they judge based on what they believe to be true. This psychological tendency shapes how influence operates in nearly every environment: business, politics, leadership, and social circles. Those who understand perception learn how to guide it. Those who ignore it often find themselves misunderstood, underestimated, or overlooked. Centuries ago, the political strategist Machiavelli observed that leaders are often judged not by their private actions, but by the image they present to the world. In his famous political work, The Prince, he explained that reputation and appearance play a critical role in maintaining authority. This insight remains powerful even today, because in social environments, especially those involving powerful individuals, image influences opportunity. Think about the way people instinctively react to confidence. Someone who walks into a room with calm composure often attracts attention immediately. Their posture suggests certainty. Their movements are deliberate. Their tone of voice is controlled. Even before they speak, people begin forming impressions about their competence and importance. Now compare this to someone who enters nervously, speaks too quickly, and constantly seeks approval. Even if the second person is intelligent and capable, their behavior may create the impression of insecurity, and perception often becomes reality. Powerful individuals are particularly sensitive to these signals. signals. They observe how someone carries themselves. They notice whether someone appears calm under pressure. They notice whether someone reacts emotionally when challenged. These small behavioral cues shape how others perceive someone's strength, reliability, and maturity. For this reason, one of the most important skills in powerful environments is emotional control. Not the suppression of emotions entirely, but the ability to remain composed when facing uncertainty or disagreement. Those who maintain calm reactions demonstrate psychological stability, and stability creates trust. Another powerful aspect of perception involves scarcity. Human psychology naturally assigns higher value to things that appear rare. When someone constantly seeks attention, their presence begins to feel ordinary. But when someone appears selective with their time and energy, they often seem more valuable. This is why many influential individuals speak less than others in conversations. They listen carefully, they observe, and when they finally contribute an idea, their words carry greater impact. Scarcity increases perceived importance. But controlling perception also involves understanding humility and restraint. One of the most common mistakes people make when entering powerful environments is trying to display their intelligence too aggressively. They interrupt conversations, they challenge others too quickly, they attempt to prove their expertise constantly. Ironically, this behavior often backfires. Instead of appearing intelligent, they appear insecure. True confidence rarely needs constant validation. Those who possess quiet confidence allow their confidence to reveal itself gradually. They contribute thoughtful ideas at the right moments. They support discussions without dominating them. This approach builds respect naturally. Another powerful strategy involves allowing others to feel important. Many individuals crave recognition. They want their contributions acknowledged. They want their influence respected. When someone consistently gives others credit for ideas and achievements, they create a positive emotional environment. People feel appreciated, people feel valued, and they begin to associate those positive emotions with the person who created them. This principle was also observed in the strategic thinking of Machiavelli, who warned that leaders are often suspicious of individuals who appear too eager to claim recognition. When someone appears to seek glory too aggressively, they may be perceived as a rival rather than an ally. But when someone supports the success of others, they become trusted, and trust creates access. Another dimension of perception is consistency. People evaluate character not only through single actions, but through patterns of behavior. Someone who remains calm across many different situations appears stable. Someone who treats both powerful individuals and ordinary people with respect appears principled. Someone who keeps their word repeated and appears reliable. Over time, these patterns build reputation, and reputation becomes one of the most powerful forces in social influence. Because once a strong reputation exists, people begin to trust your character even before interacting with you directly. Your name becomes associated with positive qualities, competence, reliability, integrity. These associations travel through networks faster than direct introductions, and eventually they open doors. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of perception is authenticity. While strategic behavior can help someone navigate social environments, artificial personalities rarely succeed for long. People eventually sense insincerity. Authenticity creates something far more powerful than strategy alone. It creates genuine connection. When someone combines authentic character with social intelligence, their presence becomes naturally compelling. They do not appear manipulative. They appear thoughtful. They appear trustworthy, and people naturally gravitate towards individuals they trust. This combination of authenticity and strategic awareness forms the foundation of long-term influence. Over time, relationships built on this foundation deepen. Conversations become more meaningful. Opportunities become more frequent, and gradually the individual who once stood outside powerful circles find themselves inside them. Not because they forced their way in, but because their presence became valuable. Their insights became respected, their reliability became trusted, and their reputation opened doors that once seemed impossible to unlock. This is the quiet truth about influence. It is rarely about loud ambition or aggressive networking. Instead, it is about patience, observation, value creation, and the careful shaping of perception. Those who master these principles discover that powerful